Hi, this is Maysha with As Long as You're Breathing. And look who's in the house. And I know what she's going to say, Pam McDonel.
And in the beginning,
There was energy, neither bad nor good.
just energy.
Just energy. I love it. I love it. I'm so glad to have you. And I'll always be glad to have you as long as we're breathing.
As long
Ah,
as you're breathing, keep living. As long as you're breathing, keep living. As long as you're breathing, keep living. As long as you're breathing, keep living.
Yes, I
okay.
know. Dance party for sure, girl. I mean, we've gotten now to where we don't do anything without a dance party. I mean,
I'm thinking
yeah,
no. And
yeah,
we're
yes.
gonna have times at the retreat where we do that too.
We are, we
We're gonna
are.
have to
And so
weave that in.
weave that in. Absolutely. So, folks, Pam and I are looking at doing an energy management retreat. Retreat. Yes, yes, yes. In July. What week in July are we doing it, Pam?
When?
Yeah, what week? What week is it? Third week?
Third week of July.
Third week of July. And we're looking
Yeah.
at either
You
like,
know, I better double check that. One moment,
okay. And
please.
we're looking at the Gulf Coast, or we're looking at someplace on the Gulf Coast. It's not
Yeah.
decided yet, but it will be soon. And we are so very excited about that.
And yeah, I know what everybody's gonna say, but it's hot in July. But we're gonna be at the beach, so who cares?
Who cares? That's right. And
Yeah.
the way Pam and I retreat is retreat means that like in the morning we'll have sessions, and then the rest of the day you're free for most of the retreat. Maybe a couple evenings we may do things. And do we have a full moon or a new moon or anything like that
Ooh,
during that
I don't
time?
know. Let me look.
Wouldn't that be
And
super cool? We could do
yeah,
a
and so that's gonna be like the week of the 17th to the 23rd, somewhere
okay,
in there.
okay,
Well, we don't have it totally planned yet, but it's coming.
okay. All right.
So let me look for new moon information
Yeah.
and information.
New moon and full moon. Yeah. It would be full moon that time of the month if we're, and that
Yeah.
should be close.
Well, let's see here.
I'm thinking we'll have one that week.
Here are the dates for the full moons in 2022.
Okay. So
Somebody else
July.
out there probably knows right off the top of their
They
head,
do.
but
Somebody knows. Somebody's
I
laughing
don't
at it.
have it. I don't have those on my thingy do wicker.
All right. Well,
Okay,
hold on.
so July 13th is buck moon. So
Oh
we'll
man,
just
we're just gonna
have
miss the
missed it.
buck moon.
Yeah, but hey,
Well, there'll
probably
be
a good
something
thing.
astrological going on.
That might be a good thing. Some of us might be trying to do that butt naked thing.
Especially if there's peanut butter whiskey involved. Oh my gosh. So
Oh my God. Okay.
yes, we
Well,
really are going to talk energy management, you all. We're going to talk about boundaries, parameters, and bridging communication versus playing roles. But Pam and I got stood up. I'm dressed up in no
oh,
place to go. I got
not
stood
by
up.
me. Not by me.
I'm all dressed up with no place to go. Somebody picked church over me. I'm giving up.
I mean, really.
I give up, girl.
Well, you ended up with me. How much luckier could you be?
I got so lucky. I got so lucky. You know it. I really did. And so Pam and I, we decided to do an impromptu live, and I'm so glad you're available, Miss Pam.
Thank you. I
Yes.
was like, it's actually a very good break from the craziness I'd been doing today. So thank you for dragging me out of my misery.
Well, thank you for joining me. I appreciate it. I much prefer bantering back with someone than just talking to myself. And so far, we don't have anybody that's joined us, but that's okay because it will be, as Scott says, recorded for posterity. So,
Well, it is Friday night and it is getting close to, what did I say? That thing.
yeah, you
Um,
called it Mardi Gras.
yeah, Mardi Gras. My friend Carl, who lives in Louisiana, just rolls over in his grave. Well, no, he's not dead yet. He's alive. But he like, yeah.
I was on a
If he
cruise
was
ship.
dead, he'd be rolling over in his grave. But thank you, Carl. I'm sorry you're not. So
Yes, yes.
I mean,
was
I'm
on-
glad you're not.
I was on a cruise ship once, and one of the I don't know, floors, whatever, a hallway, something or another was DEGRAS. Well, I don't think French, I don't think of that. So I'm like, degrass, and of course I was immediately, the laugh.
Where's
of-
the grass? I don't see any grass.
Where's the grass? The grass, the grass. The
The
plane, the plane.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, it's DeGraw. And I'm like, no, that would be GRAW.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I was born in Illinois, folks. We don't spell GRAW, GRAS. That's somebody trying to spell grass.
And forgot the last S.
And they forgot the last S.
Yeah, we in Oklahoma don't spell like that either.
No, because y'all are proud to be Okies from Muskogee.
That's right.
I love for dance party that you had a George Strait song picked out.
Did you like that?
I did.
I don't have like, the only thing I probably have one favorite of is color, and that's purple.
Mm-hmm. And it's cold here, so I've got purple.
I know, and I love that. I was going to tell you a while ago, I love that purple
Thank
shawl
you.
you've got.
Thank you.
But, everything else is like, okay, today my favorite might be, well, I had to back up. Okay, my second favorite is my mama's lemon meringue pie, but I never get that anymore. So,
I love lemon meringue and coconut.
Yeah.
I love coconut cream too.
well,
I love
Anyway.
lemon meringue. But anyway, your favorite.
when Diana was asking us for our favorite, all that
Mhm.
list, I was just like, Diana, if you know me by now, I don't have but one favorite. So then I like gave her 3 songs and 4 this and
It was
2 more
hard.
of that.
It was hard. The reason I picked locomotion is I knew that she was going to have us get up and do the stuff, and I'm like, okay, locomotion, I can get up and
Locomotion's
do
got to
it.
be it. Yeah.
I know, and then we didn't do it.
Well, and then you remember that song? Let me see if I can think of it, that we were talking about that would have been perfect for that certification. Something about the stars.
Oh, I tip my hat to the keeper of the
No.
stars.
No.
No, because I love that. So I used to sing that
Yeah.
song at weddings.
Well, I'll think of it maybe later or not. Doesn't matter. But anyway,
Yeah, that's one of the songs on my list that I wish I had written. Is I tip my hat to the keeper of the stars. I sung that at weddings. I loved doing that song. Yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah,
everything is a song.
everything is a song.
I bet as we talk through some of these things, we're going to come up with some songs.
I don't doubt it a bit. And everything, I'm always able to come up with one. I used to be told you're making that up, and to which people would jump to my defense and say, no, she's not. It's a song. And so that's pretty bad when the world you're in that's what you're accused of is,
Especially country songs.
Especially country songs.
You can bring a country song to just about any situation.
You can bring a country song to anything. That's true. But so anyway. So boundaries, perimeters, bridging communication versus playing roles. And what in the world's that got to do with energy management? Well, I'm going to start with it this way. Everything is energy. And we talk in terms of energy for everything here. And so that is going to be the context we're always talking in case you're like, what are these women talking about? We're even here talking about energy management. Pam and I are high vibrational people, and we believe in having a good time. Now, high vibrational does not mean that we are like up here and other people are down here. And this is StreamYard, and so up here, down here. That means that we understand that everything is energy in motion or emotion. And so therefore, one of the ways that energy is managed is by the emotional vibrational frequency that you're in. And as you can see, Pam and I stay pretty much in the vibrational frequencies that are higher up and not dense. because I don't like using low and high vibrational, but it just is a number. It doesn't mean that you're lesser than if you're in a lower vibration. We all have times when we are kind of sad or kind of down. I mean, life happens, and we are not advocates of not feeling your feels. That's false. That's inauthentic. And so we're not that. Yes.
But here's a little distinction too.
Mhm.
While Maysha and I are very high vibrational and we can be in this high vibrational mode,
Energy. When we're in this energy.
when we're in this energy, Maysha's can go on forever and ever. Mine is short lived. So I do this thing for a while, and then I got to go and rest, and then I can come back and do it again. But Maysha's never seems to leave. So, I sometimes have to go. When I went to visit, it was like, I got to take a nap. Still going.
That's what Scott says too. Scott says it never stops, but that's not true because yesterday, I mean,
I know.
I ended up yesterday having to cancel my 2 evening appointments, and I actually had to rest because it was just, I can only go so long too because the energy is that it's energy, and we run out of it, and so that will make us lower vibrational too. If we're tired, if we're not getting the rest we need, we will come down into the denser energies. And so, and being high vibrational does not always mean you have to be getting it over the top, and that is just my natural state too. So I've spent my whole life saying, I'm too much for most people, and I've had people look at me, and I know they wanted to say, yes, you are.
And then she gets people like me that go, uh-huh.
But no, I'm truly to the point in my life where, and it's not an in-your-face thing. It's not a take me as I am or whatever, because I certainly know there are places to be appropriate, etc. If I'd gotten invited to go to church tonight, I'd have behaved. I just wasn't invited. I was just told, no, I'm going to church instead. It's like, okay, all right. All righty then. I should have took you up on that movie last night. That's what I got for resting,
There you go.
But no, seriously, I get tired too, and we do have to rest. We absolutely do. But I am one of those people. I do like to have fun, and I do like to laugh, and I like to be myself, and we should all be ourselves. And so,
I don't get to do that enough. I don't
either.
Laugh enough. So.
I'm never with anyone live. I mean, I'm truly not. My friend John and we go to lunch occasionally. John's wants to send me up for church. John's like yesterday, he's like, okay, let's go to the movies. Let's go to the movies. And I'm like, John, I can't. I'm in bed. I said, I have been like full blown, and I said, I had to go to bed. And he's like, yeah, I was really lucky. He didn't invite himself over.
I don't know. That might have been fun.
No, not even. No, instead he was like, okay, we'll do it tomorrow. And then tomorrow came, and so I'm like, okay, John, you just tell me when. And he's like, oh, I've got to go to church. And so I really think you chickened out, to be honest.
It was that high vibrational energy that you felt.
No, it's not. No, he had a church thing to do because John is my buddy. John's who I spent Thanksgiving, the day before Thanksgiving with, and I mean, John's my guardian angel. So he's my friend that I do spend time with. When I get out of the house, it's with John, and he's very good to me, and I'm so appreciative of his friendship. But
that's good.
But I'm only going to hang with people that I'm not too much for. And if I'm too much for them, that just means I'm not attracting them to me, which just leads us right exactly to where we're at. Because
and I started to say I kind of took us off course. So
no, you didn't. Too many times in my life, what I did, Pam, was I was the chameleon, as you were saying yesterday. I was the chameleon, and again, there is certainly appropriateness, and we're online now on a Friday night having fun. So this is appropriate. And yes, it is energy management and it's serious, but it's a Friday night and we're on live impromptu. So it's meant to be fun. But so I'm certainly very capable of appropriate. I mean, the jobs I had, I've got appropriate down pat, but at the same time, this fits everything, boundaries, parameters, bridging communication, or playing a role. I refuse to play a role anymore. I have played so many roles in my life, and got the looks, that you're not being appropriate. You're not, and what do you mean? I'm laughing. What do you mean? I want to dance. What do you mean I'm not appropriate because I'm stating my opinion? You know, um, there's
And that
there's
isn't appropriate.
right. There's a difference between being allowed to be who you are and being told who you're going to be. And we should never in life accept somebody else defining a role for us. As a matter of fact, we shouldn't step into any roles at all. We should create the role. So,
But
yeah, go ahead.
society,
Yeah,
community, family teaches us that and brings us up that way. So what
yeah.
we don't know, we don't know, we don't know.
And so we do
We
what
do, yeah.
the mind has learned.
Yes.
That's the mind. The mind is like, wait, a wife acts this way. A daughter at this time acts this way. If you're a mom, for God's sakes, a mom always does things this way. No, just
Yeah.
no.
I know.
Just no. You, as a wife, you create the role with the person you're in relationship with. You co-create that. They're a husband, you're a wife. You co-create what those roles mean. Meaning, you show up in a relationship to begin with. First thing you do is, this is me. This is do StreamYard. This is StreamYard. So I got to, this is me. This is what you can expect of me. And they show up the same way. Instead, because it really needs to be unconditional love, as we know. And unconditional love means you don't show up with a list of conditions. This
Yeah.
is what I expect. These are the conditions. Instead, you show up with your list. This is what, again, it's StreamYard. StreamYard doesn't reverse for us. This is what you can expect of me.
Yeah.
And you put those in the safe container, which is the dimension of the relationship. And then you stay who you are. And so instead of it being this, where you merge together and you create these roles and you're not yourself, and it's one and one becomes one, your one and one becomes three, which is exponential. It's
Yes.
exponential. So you say yourself and you're amazing, and they say themselves and they're amazing. And then together you
You're amazing.
co-create.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're like, this is me. And as a wife, this is how I will be. And if that's not okay, then I'm not the wife for you, or whatever for you. Since we were talking husband and wife here,
Yeah.
that's the example we were
And,
using.
and it's a partnership. It doesn't matter. And any relationship to me should be a partnership.
Sure.
You do come into that relationship with, this is me, that's you, and now how are we going to blend that together to make that third, to make the
The
us, if you
dimension.
will,
The us.
that partnership, and how that best fits both of us.
Right. You don't change because you're in that.
But
You
we're not
grow.
taught that. We're not
I
given
know.
we're
We're
not
not
given
taught
those
that.
parameters, and we are not given the permission, if you will, to
Permission.
know that we can even do that,
I know.
much less how to do it.
Right. Because what if your marriage doesn't look the way society thinks it's supposed to? What if the way that the two of you show up, and I'm not getting into far out there stuff either. I'm not talking about, there's 6 of you in the marriage. I'm not talking that. Because that's a whole other energy management thing that I've already talked about. And then you get to commingling energies that are non-resonant, and you've got
Oh,
chaos. And so
yeah.
that's a whole other topic. I'm
Yeah.
talking about, what if in that marriage it turns out that one of you is the one who makes the most money, and it's not the gender that the family finds acceptable? What if you marry someone and you're the girl and you're making all the money, and they have this amazing something else they do, and that's perfectly fine with you, but then the family, oh boy, how's he's a freeloader, he doesn't work, he doesn't, or she makes all the money, or whatever they say. Well, no, if the two of you have decided this is how it is, and you're good with it,
Then that's okay.
then that's okay. But that's not what we're taught. Now, I'm not saying that it should be that way. I'm not saying he shouldn't be a freeloader. You shouldn't accept that either. But that's where your parameters come into play.
Yeah.
Because you decide for yourself, I'm energy. How do I want to be treated? Well, This is how I want to be treated. Okay. First, I treat myself that way. And guess what happens? Because your energy, treating yourself a certain way, you get protons, electrons, and neutrons that are aligned with that, which is other people's energy coming your way. Now, when you want more of that coming your way, the way you keep that doing is you don't stop with, so I've got my boundaries now. This is how people are going to treat me. You can't do that. You have to treat other people that way. You have to put that energy
Right.
out. Then you attract those people in. And then you've got those people to choose from. What other aspects, okay, that one doesn't work exactly right. Ooh, those are a nice set of protons, electrons, and neutrons, but no, there's a problem with that.
Not that one.
Not that one. But
Yeah.
that's how you decide is doing it that way. But if we put up the boundaries instead, then we've decided who we are, but we stopped with the mutual respect of humanity, and we're not putting energy out. And so that's not what we're going to get in. What we're going to get in is other people who are rigid and
Yeah.
it's all about me, because that's what that is. That's what it is it's all about me. And we'll get into the fact that there are appropriate boundaries, but no, you use parameters, because when you have parameters, people who don't, your parameter is your energetic field. And when non-resonant energies feel that, like somebody's going to gravitate towards you because they're kind of in your orbit. Let's say they're at your work, because you don't get to choose who's at your work. So they're in your orbit, even though you're not attracting them in. But you can bet your parameter, they feel it. They feel your energetic field. And they're like, don't team me up with her for that project, because our energies don't. Now, and if you have to be, that's when you have to learn to bridge communication.
Yep.
And if they're a bully, aggressive, don't honor your parameters, don't play fair, don't work right, don't whatever thing, then you may have to go to boundary. You may have to say, hold on, you are not honoring my parameter, and now I've got a boundary, and this is the line in the sand. But you don't step straight to boundary, because when you step straight to boundary, and you don't do that right away either, because you may be making assumptions about that person. So you look at the why they're acting that way. Are they acting that way because they really are a jerk? Or are they acting that way because maybe they're low vibrational in a different vibrational frequency than you, not a lot lesser than you, but in a different vibrational frequency, because they don't understand what's expected of them. And so you communicate. You communicate.
And you might be putting something out unknowingly that is messing with their perimeter.
Absolutely. So you communicate about those things, you figure it out. And if that doesn't work, then you go to boundaries. Then you go to other places. But you do all of those things first. But that is how we attract people in, and that's how we get to be who we are. I don't have to be in the face of anyone with the fact that I'm giggly and I laugh and I cut up and everything's a joke or a song, or that I am like this. I don't have to be in your face with it with anyone, as long as I'm being authentically me in the world. That's the people I attract in. That's why, and you're making fun because I got tired too. So let's be honest. I got tired too. I'm not always like this, but
no, and I know that.
Yeah, I know.
But your energy level is much more prolonged than mine.
Well, you had driven how many hours? How many hours? Yeah, you had driven a lot of hours. So see, there's those things that we have to. Okay, why is Pam now dropping in energy? Well, Pam drove how many hours to get here? So it's not that
5 that day.
Well, yeah, but that's
5 the day before, 5 that day.
Right.
And
yeah. So
that's a long time.
It is, right. So we have to take those things into consideration. So, but it's definitely, because everything is energy, and it is the energy we are in is the energy we're going to attract. And so I was a chameleon in that, and other people will be chameleons too, or wear masks. And so in my past, I was very good at bridging to people. And so, but people who take advantage of that, your bridging turns you into a chameleon because they're not bridging to you. You're doing all the bridging. You're bridging to their style. And suddenly you take on that style because unless you're in that style, that behavioral style, bridging to them, then you're not acceptable to them. And so that's why you have to watch bridging. Bridging has to be something that you're both aware you're doing. It has to be, okay, this is me and that's you. And for us to communicate on this, we both have to come this way a little bit. Because
And don't you think
go ahead.
that you can even bridge to the point of moving into that role that you play?
That's what you do. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's the chameleon. That's the whole thing is
Yeah.
like, I'll just use past examples. Relationships, my relationships have started since my first failed one. My relationships have started with, this is me. Now, I didn't know how to do it as well, but
Yeah.
I've always started with, okay, this is how I show up. This is me. This is me. And so I just expected that if people were like, oh, okay, she's laid her cards on the table. This is who she is, that's who they wanted, but it wasn't. And so what would happen is I wouldn't realize that soon enough, or they would play the game long enough. It would be, wow, once I get her, I'll change her. And maybe they
Yeah.
didn't think that, but as a society, that's what we do. Okay, I'll get her, or we're drawn to that energy. People would be drawn to my high energy. They would love that.
Mhm.
But the truth is, they didn't want me to be authentically me all the time. And so, but what would happen is they would act like they did until I was already deep in the relationship with them. And then it would be like, oh, and by the way, you need to tone it down. Or by the way, don't talk about da 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 da, or don't. And well, the first time they say something like that, you're like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
yeah. And then the next thing you know, you're 5 years into it, 10 years into it, 15 years into it. And now you're, okay, can I get up and dance? Can I do this? Can I do that? Oh, I know not to do that. Oh, I better not do. And the next thing you know, you're like, where the hell did I go? Where's
Yeah.
me? Yeah, where's me?
But another part of that, Maysha, is even when people come into a relationship, they don't always have that this is me, because from forever they have been that chameleon, and they don't even know who the me and this is me and this is what I have to contribute is.
Because that's all society's ever let
Yeah.
them be. We have played roles our whole lives. I talk about this a lot, but in when I would fix long-term care facilities, I did behavioral style analysis, and we would do the analysis for your role at work. We made that distinction, and it seemed brilliant because we were realizing that people at work are different than they are at home. So then people would start coming into work, after we got them in the right job based on their behavior style at work. We were brilliant. We were doing the right thing. We were putting people in a role that fit them, not squeezing them in a role that didn't fit them and trying to make them be the role. So we were doing brilliant stuff. But then they would come into work and they'd be in a bad mood. Oh, so they need to understand their behavioral at home. So then there was, okay, now take the same thing and let's talk about home. And so, damn, I was good. I was helping people with their lives at home. I was helping them with how they behaved at church. I was helping them with how they behaved with their family. And they were taking tests for everything. And then before long, the next thing I know, this company, they've got a test for, if you're a doctor, what's your behavioral style? If you're a lawyer, what's your behavioral style? And I thought this was great. And now I know, well, it was that backwards. It should have been, what is your behavioral style? This is me. Okay,
Yeah.
Now, how do you show up in whatever role you're in? If you're in this role, how does that person show up? Because that's what matters. It's not fit yourself into a role. It is tailor the role to fit you. But we didn't do that. We didn't know. We were lower vibrational. We were not consciously aware, which simply means we now know. That's all that means. Consciously aware just means we now know.
We know more better now.
We know more better now.
I want to go back to boundaries for a minute, if we could.
Oh, absolutely.
If this is a good point.
I've got a boundary against that, Pam.
Okay,
I know
well,
what I
could
can
you
do with my
change that to
boundary.
a perimeter for a little bit?
I know what I can do with my boundary. I got it.
No, what I wanted to talk about boundary about was, and I didn't want to forget it. So, um, for those of us who are intuitive and empathic,
Yeah,
a big thing is boundary.
I know.
Set your boundaries up.
Set your boundary.
And there is a certain amount of reason, and that's really not how I want to say it, but um, there is a certain amount of justice to that.
Mm-hmm.
But I so like the way that you've really kind of talked more about perimeters than boundaries,
Yeah.
because even as empaths and intuitives, sensitives,
Sensitives.
we can put those perimeters up and still send our energy forward, and then allowing that energy to come back, that same energy to come back. But if there is an energy out there that's coming back that we're just like, yeah, no, that doesn't feel good, then we can express that. We can share that information, that communication, that bridging.
Yeah.
And if that person refuses to honor your perimeter, your energies, your place, then yeah, okay, you might need to put up a little bit heavier boundary with that person. But you haven't completely
Walled yourself off.
walled yourself in, built a boundary around you, above you, below you. Do you need to protect that? Yeah.
The integrity of your field.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you don't have to shut yourself off. And for many of us empaths and sensitives, again, that was a place where most of us didn't have somebody to teach us about that. So
Nobody was teaching it. Yeah.
yeah,
Nobody was
so I
teaching that.
mean, the energies from everywhere was flowing in, and that's how we got to playing those roles and falling down into that lower vibration consistently.
But the weight of being somebody we weren't, or taking on other
Yes.
people's energy.
Being that chameleon, learning how to be that chameleon, because you had to be that chameleon to survive.
Yes. Now, just to show that everything truly is energy, because you just segued perfectly into that. Everything is energy. I know you're so good at this. You'd think we planned this stuff. It just flows so naturally for us. But yeah. But anyway, this retreat's going to be amazing.
I
But
think so too.
it is. It's going to be great. But,
I so apologize for this cough and nose thing.
hey, my allergies are going, so don't
Yeah.
worry about it. You need to cough, you go right ahead. But we use light, you and I do, for healing or for progressing or for releasing. We use light. Now think about this. Light is energy. The white light is unconditional love. So white light is what we always want to replace everything with and fill everything with. The
Yes.
yellow or gold light is wisdom. Now, the way we teach it and talk about it, especially whenever we are using the light to heal, like I said, the white light, we replace everything with it. We bring our vibrational frequency up to that, all of those things. But the
Right.
gold, it's the reflective qualities or the deflective qualities of the golden light that we utilize. It's the wisdom. So we are being ourselves. We are putting out the energy of ourselves. We call down wisdom upon us. And that wisdom, that gold, it enters into our aura. And so it becomes our perimeter. It maintains the integrity of our perimeter. So wisdom, golden light, is now reflecting and deflecting all throughout our perimeter, our energetic field. So those who do not match us energetically are deflected. We don't have to have the boundary. They are energetically deflected by the reflection of the gold. Now, all of that is energy. But if you take it and turn it into the natural, your wisdom, it is your wisdom, it is your awareness, it is your hold on, that's not in integrity with my energy field. They are crossing my perimeter. So it is your wisdom, your own wisdom, to stand in your perimeter, not go lower than your vibrational frequency of your perimeter and become a chameleon. To know, oh, hold on, they're crossing my perimeter. The deflecting, the fact that it's out there was not enough. Now in my wisdom, I know I need a boundary with that person. Perimeter's not enough. And so it's much more than just, oh, well, we're bringing in white light, we're bringing in gold light. We are bringing in actual energies. This wisdom is energy of wisdom, but it gives us strength to do that too. It's wisdom, love, and we do it in the strength of unconditional love. So it is not harsh. It doesn't set up a good or bad or me against you.
Yeah.
It is simply fact. So go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, as we were talking about chameleon, that chameleon effect, which I don't know that we actually explained what we meant, but
Go ahead.
but yeah, so that's when you absorb into somebody else's energy. You become what you think, feel, or know, excuse me, that somebody else needs or wants you to be, or how you should be, kind of like, the shoulds.
The shoulds. You should
And
yourself again.
you do that a lot of times because you think that's the only way you can survive that particular relationship, that particular situation, whatever it might be. Now, sometimes that's a good thing. Most of the time, it's probably not a good thing. And the other thing that I wanted to say about that is, once you recognize and you realize that you have been that chameleon and you have worked on keeping your energetic level at a higher frequency, a higher vibration, you can make that decision,
conscious choice.
Maybe
that's what you're looking for.
To be, thank you, because I struggle with those words.
Well, no, you don't struggle with them. It's it's 6:30 on a Saturday and hit the Friday. It's not even of a day.
Someday.
It's Sunday, Monday, whatever.
But you can make that conscious choice to step into that role and play it for a limited amount of time. Sure. You don't have to step in there forever like you had, but you can step in and play that role that you need to at the moment, or you can choose not to.
It's your choice.
It's your choice. And it then comes down, in my mind, to a personal safety factor.
Yes, there are times when, for personal safety,
you have to step into a role.
You play the role.
And we probably got a bazillion of those stories too.
We do.
But
you can stay in the energy where you have to do that. If you stay in that energy, then you're going to just keep attracting. And that's what happens when you stay in that role. Well, you're just still attracting that energy that expects you to stay in that role. But now, if you're a child, children who are in, or a spouse who is in a situation where it is truly dangerous to get out of, or something like that. Yeah.
But when you come to that place that you can make that choice, that conscious choice, you can step into that role and back out of it, as quickly as possible.
Sure.
So,
well, and that's what
I wanted to make that distinction and
absolutely
talk about that a little bit.
That's what the space of the dimension of the relationship, the third person, the dimension of the relationship is for. So you can say, okay, I'm discovering this in our relationship dimension here. This is me, this is you, and in the relationship, I've said I will show up this way, and you said you'll show up this way, and we've agreed to that. I'm seeing though that the energy gets chaotic with us. It doesn't flow smoothly with us unless I slip over into this. And I'm willing to do that, let's say, when your boss is around, because I get it, you need that. It's important for your job. I'm willing to do it around your mother because she's your mother and you're not ready yet to lay the law down to mom and say, listen, I'm willing to do that one Sunday a month for 2 hours or whatever, but I will not take on that role and be that person all the time.
Yeah.
And then that person should respect you enough that they look at you and say, thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
Thank you. And then when you need them to chameleon a little bit, they should be reciprocal. And if not, you've got yourself an energy loop problem there. You're doing all the giving and they're not getting anything back. But the space to discuss that is within the relationship. And if you talk about it in terms of energy, you didn't make that person out bad. You expect me to go and you expect me to be, I can just see, I know how the conversations go and I'm not going to. Well, no, it's energy. It's okay. We both know this is how we are. And the energy there is this, and that's not resonant with my energy. And it's not resonant with yours even, but I get it. That you need the contract with that person. And that's why they're in our orbit. You didn't attract them in because that's our energy. You've attracted them in because this is your work. And so we have to put up with some non-resonant energies because this is the world. And so that's why that's in our orbit. And I understand that I need to slip into that, but don't expect me to do it all the time. That's who I'm going to be when we get home. Don't expect that it's okay for them to cross certain lines with me. I expect, since you've put me in this orbit, either I'm going to defend myself at this line or you're going to. You're going to say, hold on. No, you just crossed the line.
And if you don't, trust me, I will.
Trust me, I will, But when you put it in terms of this is the energy of it, then you take away all the you and your mom do this to me whenever I'm at your house visiting them. And that escalates into and turns into and is and so many things that aren't necessary.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
And so that goes back to that communication and being able to communicate your needs as well. And here's the thing. No matter the relationship, the needs are going to change.
Aren't they
For
though?
both or all of you.
Absolutely.
They will change.
Energy in motion. Energy in motion.
And
even if you sit still, Pam, and you say, we've been together 20 years. She knows what to expect of me. I know what to expect of her. We live in the same house. I've got the same job. The world didn't stop with the same house, the same job for 20 years. So I guarantee you, you didn't either. You have changed. And if you haven't updated what's in the relationship dimension, you've got problems.
And you might have made those subtle changes so that when you get 20 years down the line, everything's still status quo and everything's okay. But you better be checking on that all the way through. Because most of the time we start here and we end up there. Things have really changed, but we haven't made the adjustments.
We didn't make the adjustments. We didn't have the conversations.
That's right.
Didn't have the conversations.
We're sitting here with the same stuff that we came in with.
Yeah.
We're sitting.
Well, and you know what that gets us
here
to?
With the same stuff we came in.
Yeah. I know StreamYard and the way it does. I know that. Plus that we're old and decrepit by that time we're holding a cane. But anyway, but that also gets us to using your intuition too. And this could be in a close relationship, or this could be in somebody you just meet, or this could be in friends or whatever. But it comes down to, all right, usually this person, or so far, this person has been this way, or I have perceived them to be in this energy. Now, all of a sudden, they have done something that, I'm not so sure about that. I thought this person said they were going to do such and such. They've done what they've said so far, and now all of a sudden today, they're not doing what they said they would do. Now, we can course correct and put up the boundary and decide that person's been dishonest with me. I can't trust that person. This person's da-da-da-da-da. We can do that. Or we can look at the energy of it. Why is this person doing that?
Yeah.
Because if we look at the energy of it, most people want to do what they said they're going to do, mean to do what they say they're going to do, that they're being authentic with you. That's what they want to do, especially if that's what they've been showing you. But then when they don't do it, why aren't they doing it? Are they showing you that they really aren't being authentic with you, that they've been a chameleon with you and oops, it's slipping, which
Oops.
oops, yeah, it happens. Oops, I said it was purple and now my green is showing. And the truth is, I'm all green. There's no purple to me.
I just put on that purple cloak so you could see me.
That's right, because that way I would fit with you. Or is it because energetically there is something going on? Maybe it's because we were showing enough gratitude that we were holding space for them to be in purple and not green. And now we've pulled our gratitude and the energy isn't in the relationship anymore. And they needed that. They needed that from us because that's why they were in relationship anyway. We're in relationship for reciprocal energy. So you pull yours out, okay, I haven't spoken to you all week. I've come in, I've thrown things down on the table and huffed off and said, I'm fixing dinner. And, so, you've turned into that energy. So you've pulled your gratitude out of it. And now all of a sudden the other one is like, well, they're not meeting you halfway on anything, or they said that they would take care of that situation when you go to mama's, that mama treats them like whatever. But now they're not living up to it. Well, you feel like you told me you would handle how your mom treats me and you're not doing it. Well, the energy that put them in the vibrational frequency to be able to go to mamas and say, you can't treat so-and-so that way. That was the gratitude that you were putting into the relationship. That's what made them strong enough energetically. That is what lit them up and kept them at the high vibrational frequency to go and be that person.
Right.
But when you pull that out, well, it's like, she's treated me like shit all week, and now she wants me to go to mom's and stand up to mom too.
Ain't no way.
Ain't no way. I've worked all week. I've done this. The world is crashing down around me and I would love to do it. It's not even that I don't want to do it. It's just, I don't have it in me because this relationship has become an energy deficit. I'm still putting into you. You're not putting into me. And so it really is about energy at that point. And if you would discuss it from that standpoint and see it at that standpoint. Now, if you're still putting the energy into it and they're not, and they act that way, then yes, there's a problem and you need to address it from that standpoint. But you need to look first at why this person has been this way. I'm sure this person is that way. I'm positive that what has caused this? Maybe energy at work's been pulled from them. Maybe their support at work has been pulled. Maybe you need to look at why. And that doesn't mean you excuse it. You address it. You say, okay, this has happened.
Yeah, you have the conversation.
You have the conversation in terms of energy, not you're being bad. You're not doing what I need you to do. You're not acting the way, but the energy has shifted here. What got pulled from you that you needed so you could do this?
Yeah.
What got pulled from you energetically that you needed so you could follow through with what you set out to do? And boy, if we will change, if we will change the language to that, if we will step back and say, okay, I know you. I know this is what you want and you're not doing it. So what has been pulled from you energetically? What is it you're needing energetically to change so you can follow through and do that? Instead of, well, I can't trust that person. They've let me down. They didn't do what they said they would do. If they're not, there's a very good chance it's the energy of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we sabotage relationships with the assumptions.
All the time.
With the assumptions that that's about me. That is about me. They are letting me down. They lied to me. They're not who they said they were. And it's about me somehow. May not be about you at all. Most likely it's not about you. It's about the energy that they need to be in that vibration and they don't have it.
For whatever reason.
For whatever reason.
And it could be something out of their control.
It could be something out of their control. But if you don't have the conversation, you don't know. And if you just make the assumption and you put the wall up, here's my boundary, you've sabotaged the relationship. Whereas
And you know what happens when we make assumptions.
Yo, I do. I do. Yes. I've made a lot of them. So I've been there, done that. I was like the queen of it at one point in my life because I read people so well and I could tell when they were I could tell. And
Yeah.
so but I didn't know enough to look
Yeah.
further at what is the energy of it.
What was going on?
Yeah, what is the energy of it? What is going on? But you know what, Pam, if you can't have that discussion with them, it kind of doesn't matter. If they
Well,
are not at the level of consciousness that
yeah.
discuss it this way,
If you don't, if you're not in a relationship that you can have conversation, you can't address those kinds of things.
no.
You know, you mentioned about intuitively, we know. And I know that there may be some people that watch this that go, I'm not intuitive. You know, I don't have that. Well, yes, you do. We all do. It's that it's that gut feeling, it's that knowing, it's that heart, it's that heart space that you know is true.
You know it.
There's a part of you wherever it comes from, whether it's that gut feeling, it's from your heart, it's from your chest, your head, and maybe I'll take the head out of that, but it's that place in your body that know you know that something is undeniably true and right for you. And that's that part. And many of us have been, I'm going to say trained to ignore that. We've been trained to go to our head and think logically instead of to our body and feel what's right in our body. Now, just because it's right for us in our body doesn't mean we get to go plow through things, but we've got to know what's right for us, and we've got to be able to communicate. And years and years and years, and I still don't have it down pat, but I am much better about it now. But, you know, my go-to when my authentic knowing came up is I wasn't in situations where I felt like I could communicate.
Me
So I
either.
shut down or I
Me
walked
too.
away.
I did too.
And I'm not saying that that wasn't the right thing to do. You know, you can't go there. And
No, you can't second guess. We
but
did
the
what we
problem,
did because it's
yeah,
what we
but the
knew to do.
thing is you weren't even able to communicate that to give it a chance.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I kind of wanted to bring that little part in about intuitive too, because not everybody kind of connects to that like many of us do.
Well, and it's our clairabilities, which we all
Yeah.
have. It's
Yeah.
your maybe you hear, maybe you're clairaudient and you hear.
Yeah.
Maybe you're clairavoyant and you see or know in some other way. Maybe you're claircognizant, so you just know. Maybe you are empathic
Knowing.
and so you
Yes.
feel.
Yeah.
So there's the extraordinary senses, and then of course there's just your gut feeling, you
Yeah.
know, which is your solar plexus, which is your one of your energy centers, which if it's working right and you're in touch with it, if you've been balancing, rotating, centering, clearing, if you got your energy clear, so it's your energy and you're reading your energy and your gut's telling you something's wrong. How many times have you heard people say, I knew better, my gut knew better, or my heart told me better, or I felt it here,
I
or
knew
I
not
knew
to
it
do
here.
that.
I knew not to do that.
The hair on the back of my neck was standing up, and I still did it.
I still did it. That is what we're talking about. So it can be
Yeah.
the extraordinaries, it could be the clairabilities, or it could be just what everybody and their brother
Mhm.
talks about all the time and we just ignore.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can. And you're absolutely right. We get into relationships because we don't know this. We don't do it with energy management, and we get into relationships where we can't have conversations. You know, we can't. And that doesn't make sometimes, yes, sometimes we are in a relationship with a narcissist or something like that. But sometimes it's just you're at different levels of consciousness about what needs to be
Mhm.
said. And even in our case, with all of this, and we can talk about it at this level, if I'm dealing with somebody else who doesn't accept this level, I either have to bridge to what they understand things to be,
Yeah.
and then I have to watch doing that, or I sacrifice who I am and I become a chameleon and I stay there. If you can't discuss it in these terms, figuring out how to bridge to that person. I had a twin flame contact me today, and she's like, you know, we're both very transcendent, and we've been talking, and it's been going well. And he was going to do this, this, and this. And she goes, and I know he means to do those things. I know he means to do them, but he is at a level of consciousness about those things that he doesn't know how to do them, and I can't fix them for him,
Yeah.
and I don't know what to do. And she's like, everything was going great. We finally got to where we were talking. We were talking about it. We were working on it together, and now this has happened. And she's like, I feel like what I have to do is pull my energy. And I said, you do. That's a boundary she's going to have to put up now, because it's not that she can't fix it for him. You can't fix it for someone.
No, you
She's
can't.
tried now several weeks holding the space, holding the energetic space for
Yeah.
him to have that supportive energy to help him. But he's saying the words. He's saying I'm going to do it, but he's not doing it. And so and she's tried to communicate that with him, So it's not like she's just pulled the energy just to pull the energy. It's
Right.
yeah. And
That's
so
one of those times when you have to set up that boundary.
you have to set up the boundary, and you have to say, okay, this has become an energy drain for me. There's no energy coming back here.
Yeah.
And what happens is people get into, either they expect us to fix it for them,
Yes.
or they are truly stuck because they just can't see that they're stuck and they can't take action, or they don't know how to take action. And we understand that, and we have held space for them to do that, and they still haven't done it. Because I'm a firm believer in holding space to help somebody figure out how to get unstuck. I'm a firm believer in that. But you can,
Yeah.
again, only do that so long, or then you're draining your own energy.
Right. And you can't do the work for them.
You
And
can't.
if they either can't, they don't, they're not willing, then you've got to step aside. I mean,
Yeah, you
you
do.
just, it's a sad thing, but you do.
Right. And then, but what you do also,
Yeah.
though, is you don't know when that person is going to, of their own, something happen with them that changes the energy of it, and they are able to step into it. So
Yes.
you have to decide then, is the door open? Do I go back? Do I, because then that gets into in twin flame world, especially, that gets into the yo-yo stuff. It's like, okay, all right, now they've stepped up into this understanding. They're at this level. It's very much, and it's a very easy thing to fall into, because you're not using energy necessarily because you can't talk about it in terms of energy, or you are talking about it in terms of energy part of the time, and part of the time you're not. So it's very easy to fall into that yo-yoing of putting energy in, pulling the energy out, putting the energy in, pulling the energy out. And that's not good for either of you either.
No.
So it makes it hard when people aren't on the same frequency and discussing things from the same way. It makes it very hard to know what to do, because it's not like you want to not support that person, but support means this, not I'm doing it for you, nor am I standing here and waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting, pouring my energy into you when you're not actually intending to do it, or not putting your energy in to do it, or whatever. And so
Yeah.
it is a really common thing, not in just in twin flame world, but it happens a lot in the twin flame world. And it has to do with that, where it seems like, well, they want me, they don't want me, they want me, they don't want me. Well, it's got to do with, in all aspects, where are you putting your energy, where are you not, where are you putting your energy, where you're not. And we do have to look at ourselves then and say, okay, is it my perimeter? Is it working? Is it a time I need a boundary? Is it a time we can communicate about it? What is it and what is it not? And that's your intuition, and it's also your self-care. self-care in relationships is complex. It's not as easy as um, they didn't do what I wanted them to do. They failed me, yada yada. They haven't failed you. It's not about you.
Yeah.
Unless they are narcissistic or something like that. Now, if they're narcissistic, yeah, it's about you then. It's about you then because they are doing all of
Yeah.
that to drain your energy.
Yep.
You better believe it's about you. It's all about you. It's all about you because they are using you and they intend to hurt you and they intend to drain your energy. And
Right.
you don't cut those people that slack. You don't give those people that that mutual respect back because
Yeah.
they aren't that. You know.
Well, yeah, and it's respect has gone out of that. That's not a situation where you can really respect the
No.
other person.
Right. Right.
And talking about communication was kind of reminding me as you were talking of how there's been so many times because you were talking about, you're trying to explain something here and their frequency is down here. So it's kind of like you're doing this thing when you're
Yeah.
explaining.
You're talking
And
apples and oranges.
yeah, and to me, I always say, I feel like I'm talking in some sort of alien language that nobody understands.
I
But
know.
I know I'm talking English,
I love when you say that.
and I know these people understand English. So what is it that I'm not being able to say, to get people to understand? But yeah, that happens a lot for me. And I think sometimes even my mind sometimes runs so quickly that my mouth can't keep up.
Mine too. Yeah.
And then it's kind of like, okay, I must have left out a bunch of stuff.
Right.
Maybe that's what it is. But
Well,
that's part of that communication. And you hit on that fact that sometimes we're talking at a different vibration and frequency than another person can hear.
yeah, they don't hear it
And
because it doesn't resonate with them.
it doesn't resonate. It's not that they don't hear your words. It's not that they don't maybe even want to be
They
able
do.
to honor what you're asking them. It's just, it doesn't resonate with them.
I've often had communication with people that I now understand. I was communicating very clearly. They were communicating very clearly. It's not like one is lower vibrational than the other or whatever. It's just, even though we're high vibrational people, the communication is just our understanding where we're coming from to begin with.
Yeah.
We are in different frequencies. Of course, frequencies are always going to be up and down. I mean, but that doesn't mean
Right.
they're dumb and you're smart. That's not
No,
what that means.
not at
It
all.
means you're speaking in different. You're speaking apples and oranges when you're really trying to both make fruit salad. And but you're coming from different. You're coming from different places, and you haven't established yet. That is the other thing about bridging communication. When you're talking to, let's say, someone who speaks a different language than you, or is from a whole different part of the world than you, or somebody that's from a different culture than you, and you think you're communicating clearly. Example, because this has driven me nuts. I've tried to figure this out now, and I finally did. And now that I figured it out, I'm in a culture now. I'm in a culture. It's all around me, okay, all around me. Where when they say "I'll call you back," now to me, "I'll call you back" means, okay, whatever just interrupted our conversation, as soon as that's over, you're calling me
I'll
back.
call you right back. Yeah.
No. I am in a culture now. I mean, I'm in a world now. Everyone around me, what that means is, sometime or another, I'll call you back.
I'll call back.
That drove me nuts, Pam. I
Mhm.
didn't get it for the life of me. I'm like, they lied to me. They don't want to finish the conversation. And I'm like, that doesn't fit that person. Why is this happening? And for the life of me, I didn't get it because in my culture, in my world where I grew up, hold on, something's going on. I'll call you back means as soon as that's over, I'm calling you back. Yeah, it didn't mean
that didn't take 3 weeks.
Right.
Trust me.
Right, because if it was going to take a lot, it'd be, I know we're getting this cut short, and I'm not going to be able to call you back later because I'm going to have to deal with this. We'll talk sometime. That's
Yeah.
what that is to me. We'll talk
Yeah.
sometime. I'll get back to you sometime. But no, it'll be I'll call you back, or even I'll call you right back. But I'm in a world now. I'm in a whole different part of the country. I'm in a whole different, and in this part of the country, when people say that to you, I'm telling you, I have held my breath. Like, okay, I've sat with the phone. Like, okay, they're not done with that yet. And it has frustrated me. It has made me feel. It has made me feel belittled. It has made me feel disrespected. It has hurt my feelings. And now I get it because it's all around me. That's how everybody in this area. I'll call you back.
But
Who knows when they mean?
but I'm from here too, basically. I mean, you're a little further south, but I'm from here too. And that drives me crazy because I'm not like that. If I say I'm going to call you, I'll call you.
Right.
And it's not like 6 months from now.
I know.
Next
I don't
week.
understand it. But
Yeah.
I do now understand that when that happens, that is what I have to bridge to. And I have to know, okay, we're saying it's not they're bad, I'm good. It's apples and oranges. To me, it's means this. To them, it means that. And that's it. That's all it is.
Yeah.
But talk about making me feel belittled, disrespected, hurt, all those things. And it's like, they don't mean that at all. What they mean is they'll call me back when they call me back. And here I'm sat waiting for this person to call me back.
I'm good and ready.
And now I could be hurt. I could be, I could stay in those energies.
Sure.
Or we can communicate about it and I can figure that out. And really and truly, the thing for me to have done would have been call back and say, so you said you were calling back, right? You didn't call back. Why didn't you call back and ask? But I'm not.
And you can communicate that thing of, you know what, when you tell me you're going to call me back.
I think you're going to call me back.
It's going to be when you kind of get through with that thing and not whenever you get.
Yeah, take a notion again.
To do that or next week or next month. And so I'm just going to ask you, if you don't intend to call me like pretty soon right back after that, please don't tell me you're going to call me.
Right.
Just tell me you got to go and take care of this thing.
And just go.
Just go.
Just go. But don't tell me you're calling back, because in my world, that means they're calling me back.
And when you get a text from somebody, but because you texted, can't you talk or something? And they go, I'll call you later. Okay. To me,
that means they're going to call you
a little later today sometime.
Right.
I'll call you.
Yeah.
Oh no. Shit, that could be next week. Later. And so I go, okay, later. Yep. Next week is later.
But now here is where discernment and your intuition has to come in, though. Because some people, it's just like we're saying right now. It's just a difference in what you mean. And you need to have communication about it. Yeah. Other people, though, it is meant to, maybe I'll fool with her, maybe I won't. Maybe I'll do that and maybe I won't.
Yeah.
And they mean it that way. And your intuition has to know. That's the thing, too, is when you deal with things based on your intuition, what somebody does one time, it may be fine. Okay, they meant to call me back. I know they meant to call me back. Something happened they didn't get to.
They could have gotten busy.
Right.
Emergency could have come. Yeah.
And that is fine.
Yeah.
But then when my intuition picks up on, and I'm good with that. But then when my intuition picks up on, you know what? They didn't intend to call me back. Then the same thing that you just did to me, the one time you didn't call me back because something happened and you couldn't. And I'm good with that. But when my intuition picks up, they didn't intend to call me back and they said it anyway, then you've messed up.
Yeah.
Because then it wasn't a mistake. Then you purposefully did it to put me in an energy of expectation. You abused my trust in you. Yeah. No, it's not okay. You do that, you've just stepped up to where my boundary comes up, and it's like, you know what? how many other things am I taking means this? And really it means that. And so we have to be careful with that too. And I know that about myself. Once you get my dander up in one thing, once my radar comes up, then I start looking for what else have I been taking the wrong way.
Yeah.
And so we have to, there again, we can't over course correct. We have to not overreact. And maybe that's the only thing and the only time, but we have to watch. But that is a way to use our intuition not to be used by people, is
Right.
because they will. It's like, well, I got away with it that time. Well, yeah, you got away with it that time because you weren't getting away with anything. That was acceptable. That was something happened. Now, this 20 other times? No.
No,
Now you're like,
it's
well, I can
not.
get away with it now. Oh, no, you can't. You are messing with the wrong person because people think, this is the other thing, Pam. People think that because you are easygoing and understanding and because you will communicate like this, they think that, she doesn't really have boundaries. She's so easygoing. She's doing it this time with me, so I can get away with it next time. Oh, no. Because when you're dealing with people like us who understand this, no.
And when our limit gets tested and actually touched
and tested,
done just done.
Because if you're not, you're going to keep energetically attracting people into your lives that treat you the same way. It's not even really about that person. It's about, if you let that person do it to you,
you're bound to let other people do it.
Because you are sending out the energy.
Yes.
I allow people to treat me this way.
Yeah.
So it's not about being hardcore and not liking that person. It doesn't make them a bad person. It's none of that. It's, you know what? I let that person treat me that way. Not once, but 3 times. And I know they didn't mean a thing they said to me about that. And so now everybody that's coming up to me doesn't mean what they're saying. Yeah. Guess what? No, I won't stay in that energy, because if I stay in that energy, energetically, I know that's all I'm going to keep attracting to me. And so I have to then
change. I have to change.
But the only boundaries we need, Pam, at that point, we only need the boundaries for, okay, you know how I talk about the asteroid belt that we're in. Okay. So that's the energy we're in, is we're letting people take advantage of us. So protons, electrons, neutrons are flying at us in that energy. Now we've realized it and we are like, no. We only need boundaries for those protons, electrons, and neutrons already flying at us.
Right.
When we step up to our new energy, then we've got a parameter. And so in that new energy of where, no, that doesn't happen to me, then the people we're attracting in that are at that energy, we can't make the mistake of having our boundaries up with them.
Right.
Because then we're creating the same, we're actually creating the same energy we were in. And so we have to realize, but we had that energy still coming at us. So it's still going to come at us for a while until that dissipates, until we get clear of that asteroid field of protons, electrons, neutrons we had coming in. And we're not being tested. It's not, well, she said she wasn't going to put up with being treated that way anymore, but look, here it comes and she's taking it. Oh, no, she's not. No, she's not.
Nope.
She has a boundary for the asteroid belt, but up here, she has parameters. And the people who aren't treating her that way, the energy can keep right on coming. But that energy, I won't take it. I will not take it, because that pulls me back down. And then everybody treats me that way. And that is energy management. And that is the truth. I had someone say to me once, I don't know what it was they said, but they looked at me and I said, I don't let people do me that way. That's not okay with me. Well, obviously it is. You're here. And I was blown away, because I was there because I was trying to communicate and figure out why the situation had changed. And that was the only reason, not to be there to be allowed, not to be there to say, it's fine that you're treating me that way. I was there to find out why don't we communicate like we did? Why has this situation changed? But when you recognize that somebody, that's the energy they're in, is you're here, it's okay. that's when you have to look at them and you have to either say to them, no, it's not. That's why I'm here to find out.
Yeah.
And if they stay in that energy, if they don't come up then and meet you at, oh, okay, we're here to work it out. If they don't come up to that energy, you walk away.
Yeah.
Because you can know what you mean and you can even say it. But if they don't step up to the energy of, oh, you mean that, it's not okay. If they stay in that energy of, oh, well, I guess it's okay, then it doesn't matter what your intention is. You have
Yeah.
allowed that energy to maintain. And, I don't, for the life of me, that took me something to learn too. Energy management has been an eye-opening experience for me because me,
It
if I
has been for
communicate
both
to
of
someone,
us. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
yeah.
If I communicate to someone, no, I'm here to change the situation. I'm here looking for the way our friendship used to be. I'm here for that reason. I expect them to take me at my word. Not that, no, you're here because it's okay. But
Yeah.
no, if they don't step up into the energy that you came there in, or over to the energy, if up is offensive, if they don't step over, under, whatever, into the energy that you came there in,
Right.
then you are saying this is okay. And that's all you're going to get from them. You're just going to keep attracting more and more of that energy, and you're going to be hurt and disappointed and confused. And this is why
And
you
then
have allowed
your frequency, your
your frequency goes up and down.
drops. Yeah.
It drops, and you're drained, and you don't know
Yeah.
why. And it's because you're letting people do this to you, and you think you've communicated, and you're not. But we really have to know the energy of it. And you know what? It doesn't make that person a bad person.
No. No.
It doesn't. Now it does if they know they're doing it and they're
I
taking it
started to say, now let's qualify that because
I'm going to qualify.
yeah.
But we do
Yeah.
have to look at the why something is happening.
Yes.
We can't assume. We can't assume without communicating about it. We can't assume. But once somebody has shown us over and over and over what their why is,
Yeah.
yeah. But we should not assume what the why is. We should try to communicate about what the why is. And in when communication gets really muddled up, and you think you've got somebody figured out, but nothing else about them matches that,
Yeah.
then it could be where you need a reset. And you have to stop and you have to say, hold on a second. How did our communication get this muddled up? Because I see you in every other aspect of your life, and you're not that way. And yet our communication is so messed up that it always turns out like this. We always end up having to put a boundary up or something. Either, that's when you need a reset and you need to really define, because it's going to be things like, probably, I thought you meant you were calling me right back and you didn't. I mean, it's going to end up being just a total disconnect in how the two of you communicate, probably.
Yeah.
Probably. Unless you are dealing with a narcissist or something like that. That's my opinion. What's yours?
I agree with you on that. Yeah. I mean, there are personalities like narcissists,
Mhm.
you know, and that kind of energy that is just all over the board, and you can't
You can't pin it.
deal with. I mean, you just can't. And so we have to do what is good for us in any situation, while we are also considering, others. It can't just be all about me,
It can't ever. Right.
but you have to be a big part of that. It does have to be about you, but it doesn't have to be all about you.
There we go. There we
Right?
go.
Yeah.
There we go. And that's what that is. Yeah. If you are dealing, even if you're dealing with a narcissist, even if you're doing that, um, you you do have to look at, well, it gets to the point where the energy of it is, okay, one, you can't ever change a person, nor should you want to change somebody. They are what they are.
Right. Right.
But two, you do feel stuck because they confuse you. They
Yeah.
confuse you. But there's a difference between a narcissist confusing you, and somebody that you've literally just got truly garbled communication with. There's a difference.
Yes.
There's a difference. Or when somebody is using you and when there's garbled communication, there's a difference.
Yes.
And you can
Oh
tell.
yeah.
You can tell by your intuition. Your intuition tells you, is
Yeah.
that person like this? Or is there something going on with our communication with one another that we need to fix?
Right.
You can tell the difference. We talk about that frequently because we're around a lot of energies. You and I are. And we'll be like,
Yes.
their energy is so different than ours. And so we know that we have to bridge to that energy. We have to understand that energy, but we also know that that doesn't mean anything negative about that person or positive
No.
about us or no
Or that
label
it's a bad energy
or that
or
it's a bad energy.
ours
It's so
is.
different though.
It's just different.
It's just different. And that is and so all those are the things that you have to be open to intuitively, and you can't be quick to assume. You just can't. But at the same time, trust your intuition. And if
Yeah.
you know you're dealing with somebody who is not treating you the way they should, don't do the society thing and I can't get out of it, because you can.
Yes.
You can. You can. And even if it's family, it's okay
It
to.
doesn't matter who.
It
It
doesn't
doesn't
matter
matter
who.
who.
Mm-mm. And granted, if it's your work, I know you can't just quit your job. You've got bills to pay.
Yeah.
So
But
you either work on it or you look for another job, or you do the steps. You do the steps, but you do the steps.
yeah.
Because energetically, if you stay in that's the thing. It all does come down to energy management. If you stay in that energy of a job that you're miserable in, you just attract more and more of that level of energy into your life. If you stay in a relationship that you're miserable in, you can be staying for all the right reasons. I went to a psychologist for years that was like, you're doing the right thing. You're doing the right thing. You're doing the right thing. No, I wasn't doing the right thing. I was,
It's the right thing for you.
well, it wasn't the right thing because all it did was just, it was self-perpetuating. By
Yeah.
staying in that energy, that's all I was attracting, was more of that energy, even in other relationships, because that was the energy I was in.
Right.
So we think we can stay in an unhealthy relationship, an unhealthy situation, and we can isolate the rest of our life from it. We can't. That's the energy we're attracting in. So if you're in a university that you really are not enjoying, just because that's where you told mom and dad you were going to go, you can't stay there, because the rest of your life, that's all you're going to be attracting into is that
Is
energy.
that?
Everything else is going to go to hell in a handbasket too, because you're miserable there. And so you have to speak up and say, from my life, this energy isn't working. And because of that, it's causing chaotic energy in the rest of my life. And so I know you don't want me to change it, but I have to change it. I have to change it. Even
Yeah.
if that means I have to finish a semester or the year there and take a year off and then get the money to go, whatever that means. But if you're miserable there, it's just going to attract more of that into your life.
Right. Right.
Yeah. What else can you think about on boundaries, perimeters, bridging communication, and playing roles?
I was just thinking, I mean, we've covered a lot of things, and we've been on here a bit. So maybe we just sum it up by saying, um, use the perimeters and the bridging communication much more than you use the boundaries and the playing of roles,
Yes.
right? Because within perimeters and bridging communication, you have a lot of room to move. In the boundaries and the roles, you're pretty stuck.
You're stuck.
And that goes to energy is always
It's moving.
moving.
It's always moving.
And in the beginning,
There was energy.
it was neither good nor bad.
It was just energy.
And and I think if we just remember that energy is always in motion, always,
Always.
then that helps us work because we know when we feel stuck
Yes.
and we know when we're moving.
We know intuitively when we are in a situation that we don't want to be in.
Exactly.
And that is something we have to acknowledge too, is that
Mm.
we came here to live lives that we actually enjoy, lives we're happy in. And
Yes.
if we do not get out of this energy of what are people going to think if I do that?
Yeah.
Or I can't do that because I just I was stuck in it for years. I know. And I had real issues, real issues. I mean, my health was such,
Yeah.
that just trying to get out of it would plummet my health. So I had real issues.
Yep.
But it doesn't change the fact that what it finally took was just, it's not going to change unless I change.
Yeah,
To
you
get
have
out
to
of
be the
that,
change that you want.
yeah,
right?
to get out of that energy, I have to get out of that energy. And it didn't matter what other people thought. It just doesn't matter. Because when we worry about what other people think, and mine wasn't so much what other people think, mine was truly, I couldn't see how. But if I'd have thought of it in terms of energy management, I would have known there was never going to be a solution by staying.
Yeah.
Move the energy, and solutions will start coming.
Excuse me. Yeah.
Yeah. Move the energy, and solutions will start coming. Maybe not the ideal solution, maybe not the perfect solution, but there may not be an ideal or perfect solution. But if you are in energy that you don't need to be in, you're not going to get out of it until you start moving the energy. And you have to look at, okay, if I don't do it, where am I going to be a year from now? I mean, it's taken me some time. I wanted in 3 months, in 6 months or whatever, to be in entirely different energy. No, this has not been easy. There are still huge truths in my life that are what they are. But I had to move the energy and take what that meant, and then move
Yeah.
the energy and take what that meant, and move the energy and take what that meant. But you can't stay in the energy you're in, or it's going to stay the way it is.
Exactly.
Yeah. And again, that doesn't make somebody bad or good necessarily. Again, if you're dealing with borderline personality issue, if you're dealing with narcissism, if you're dealing with abuse, if you're dealing
A
with
whole
those
different
things,
story.
that's a whole different story. And then you absolutely have to get yourself out of those energies. You
Yeah.
have to. You have to. Because all you're going to do, that is a chaotic energy that is going to just add chaos everywhere else.
And we'll continue to spiral up. Not high frequency. but
Right. Yeah. It blow up. The
Out of
drama
control.
out of control.
control.
Yeah. The intensity of it. And it will eke over into other parts of your life. And even the most controlled person can't stop. I was, I was very good at compartmentalizing my life, and okay, so it's there, and so I'll keep it from here and I'll keep it from there. No,
No.
it kept me from being able to do this, and it kept the vibration low here, and it caused chaos there. And because we're energy, we can't compartmentalize energy that way. We are energy. It's all one. And so we have to be in the frequency of who we came here to be. And then when we do that, we can be healthy and happy. That's the other thing too. Maybe you're in an energy that's not, it's not god awful, but you're just not happy. If you're just not happy,
There's
your
still something going on.
yeah, your health is going to plummet. There are going to be things, and the other people around you, they're not getting the energy from you that they should be getting. Yeah. So it's all very important that we understand boundaries, perimeters, bridging communication, playing roles, when to be hard with somebody and say, no, no more of this, when to be, okay, no more of this. Okay, have we gotten somewhere? Do you now get it? I can put that boundary down. Nope, we didn't get anywhere. Got to put it back up, and how long do you do that? I mean, but you do it all with your intuition and with energy management.
Yep.
Okay, you all
Good stuff.
good stuff. I know, because I want people to understand the practical application of what we're
Yeah.
talking about. It all sounds so theoretical. It all sounds so woo. It also, I mean, no,
No.
we're calling in gold light. We're calling in reflective. We're calling in things we're calling in wisdom. We're calling in the wisdom to handle this. We're calling in wisdom to help you deflect those energies that aren't resonant with yours. We're calling in, so it's really all very common sense, actually.
It's all good
It's all good. All right, because it is all energy.
because it is all energy.
There
And
we
it has been since the beginning.
And it will be, you all, as long as we're breathing.
Keep living.